I think I've decided what this is. Sorry, speed bump. We're doing a daily vlog, and we are documenting the entire year of 2026 and everything that we're doing in order to grow. So this means it's not always going to just be me and the camera in the car. This will be part of it, but there will be behind the scenes content. You can see us set up for projects. You can see us troubleshooting issues, and we're just going to do a video every business day. Not every day, because I have a small child, like I mentioned in the last episode. It's very important that I keep a couple days just wide open. If I can get a video or I have something really compelling to talk about, I will. But anything Saturday and Sunday, those are going to be bonuses. And it's always going to have to be like that, probably for the rest of my life. That is a boundary that I need to set. So remember, if you're a creator, you might not need boundaries at the beginning, but don't be afraid to make them as you grow and as you get older and as your life changes. You can do the thing without it being all encompassing every single day, every moment of every day, forever. Like, you can do this. I believe in you. So I spent some time thinking about the format on what are the things that are going to recur here that, one, demonstrate what I'm doing, but also or help you learn along with me, because the whole point is to show the things that I'm learning and how I'm solving problems and giving, advice, telling you what works, what doesn't work as we go. So I want to say this before we continue on. Please, down in the comments, I want you to feel emboldened or feel comfortable either asking me a question on how I'm doing something. Like if you see me edit, or I'm doing an inspiration style, or like you like how the camera looks, or the lens, or the aperture, or like the wide or narrow shot, whatever it is, ask. I want to just say, I don't know, or, your audio feels good. What'd you do? And I'll tell you what I did. I want to be able to teach in that way. But also, if you have recommendations on things that I should include here, things from this process that would be interesting for you to hear and see, this is community based. This is for you. This is for me to have something fun to look back on in a year. But mostly, I want you to get value out of it. I want you to feel like something. Like if you learn one thing about your own journey, or one thing about what YouTubers do, or what cool looks, things that's going behind the scenes, then I'm doing my job. So please either give me feedback, what you want to see, or ask me questions, or a combination of both, please. A big thing that a lot of people check on the internet for, and YouTube specifically, and search for, is equipment. What kind of equipment you use. So I'm going to start every video quickly hitting on equipment, the things that I'm using, the format that I'm using it in, or the settings on the piece of equipment I'm using, and then maybe some prices. And then I'm going to also use this footage as an opportunity to emulate someone's style, maybe, or like someone who inspires me, the way that they film, and just try to take little things that they do that I find interesting and practice. But what I want to do at the top of the video is just say, and this video's editing style or presentation is inspired by this creator, and then give them a shout out. I think that's a great way to do it. I think that's a fun idea, very interesting. So today we are filming on a DJI Action 5 Pro camera. It's very similar to a GoPro. They run about $300. I picked up a bunch of these because I want to do a lot of action style content where it's baseball related. We're getting different angles and they can stay stationary, or I can put them on my body. So I took advantage of a Black Friday deal. So I'm using one of them on and I'm just filming in 4K, 30 FPS. This video is probably in 24 FPS. I appreciate that kind of speed a little bit better. I like the motion blur and how natural it feels. And we're just filming in normal film mode with normal color. Yesterday was logged. This time we are just in the normal color on the camera. For microphone, I'm using the DJI Mic 2 with just it magnetized on here. We're going no windscreen, and I just plug the receiver directly into the camera. It's really simple. They're made by the same company. They plug them well, but these run about $200 too. So you don't have to get all this stuff, but I just want to use this opportunity to show some stuff that I use. Maybe you're interested, or you're looking for something that's quality. I do like both of these things. They're great. They do a pretty good job, but when it comes to video quality, maybe I have better options, which will make an appearance in the series as we go. Also, you're gonna notice possibly an improvement in audio over time, though I'm using the same mic. That is me doing some practice in the edit to process audio well because a lot of times I'm in the car, it's cold, there's AC or heat running. There's just a lot of ambient noise that goes on in the car. It's very echoey as well. So I'm trying to develop my process on how I make really crisp audio, and I'm able to process that audio in post to the best of my ability to fix stuff, because when you're filming things dynamically, or you're doing IRL style stuff, or you're doing vlog style stuff, sometimes the environment just isn't gonna help you out. So getting better at that too, that's another thing I'm practicing. Now, I've been thinking about this series quite a bit in the last 24 hours. It's really interesting to me. I told it to Kate, my wife, and she's like, I think that's a phenomenal idea. It's a great way to hold yourself accountable. It's a great way to communicate and put something out there that's for fun and that maybe is helpful. And at the end of the day, if I get to go back and watch all of these things in a year from now and just see where I came from, then it was worth doing. So on my way to the office, I am going to establish where we are numbers-wise, which numbers we care about the most, and then where our goals are going forward. So that way we have baselines to check in on as we go. There's certain growth numbers that I care about. There's certain growth numbers that I don't care about. And I have some opinions on metrics and what they mean and how they're different for me because of demographic information. We're not going to go super in depth because I don't have the numbers in front of me. We will at some point, but I'll just give you a brief overview of where we're at. So currently we have 2 YouTube channels, 3 YouTube channels if we include this one, okay? We have 500-ish subs here. We have just over 5,000 on one called More Mayday, which is where I'm transitioning all my highlights from my live show that I do every Wednesday and Friday at noon called Mayday. It's very similar to the Atrioc model with the big A, or little a. Either one, I think he's got 2 channels. If you're confused, go check out Atrioc and how he has his channel separated. That's kind of the model that I'm following. Then we have Trevor May Baseball, my main channel, and that just eclipsed 156,000 subscribers. And that is the main, Trevor May Originals. That's where we're going to be taking the chances, doing more of the passion projects, and possibly investing a lot more of the money. I want to do a lot more of the baseball challenges stuff, collaborative stuff, what can I still do type of stuff, like Trevor Throws Cheese and all those series. All in all, subscriber base, I'm sitting around 162,000 subscribers. Now, I've set some really big goals in terms of the subscriber numbers because subscriber numbers don't really mean a lot now for how YouTube channels are monetized. Similarly to TikTok, like virality is the biggest driver, but subscribers do represent, I think, a solidity of a fan base, of a community. It's a community. So if people subscribe to you, they want to be part of that. It becomes part of your YouTube identity, who you subscribe to. And that's kind of what it represents now, even though it's not quite as heavy in the algorithm and the searchability and the getting recommended stuff as much as it used to be. But there's still value there. So if you have recurring subscribers, even though that maybe doesn't mean you're going to grow super fast, it does mean that it's very likely that word of mouth can continue to grow that steadily. So you might not get the super hockey stick, but you might get a very, very consistent upward trend without the dips and valleys, which could be in the long term better, especially if you make the type of content that isn't so reaction to the current event style stuff, which tends to be the more viral stuff. So there's no wrong way to do it. One's just a little bit slower than the other. So we're sitting at 162,000. My big goal is to grow this to 350,000 by the end of the year, all 3 combined. Now the split is interesting in that main channel, I would love to get it from 156 to 250. That would actually be a logical increase over last year. That's almost at par how many subs I added the year over year in 2025. So if I'm able to hit that, then it should be really attainable, maybe even on the low end. But the big one is More Mayday. I want to grow from 5,000 to 100,000. And that's going to be done by migrating Mayday almost exclusively, at least the highlight videos, the clips that are edited and put in their own little separate videos that are searchable by subject. Those things are all going to be over there by mid-year, and that just means there's going to be a lot of videos, and it's going to be associated with me. So there's no way, or there's no reason it can't be growing at the same rate as the other channel, or even faster because of how consistent it will be. The growth of the show, though, is going to be the thing that makes that happen. And I'm doing a lot on that end too, to improve and make that an enjoyable experience for people who watch it, and make it a little more consistent and make it a little bit more far-reaching and possibly output up. So the reason I'm separating the Trevor May Baseball and the Mayday show is because I am my own personal creative brand that likes to do things even outside of the game of baseball. I want to widen it out. I want to do other interesting stuff. Maybe that channel maintains baseball, but that allows me to make other channels possibly, like this one, and have it not be directly associated with a format of a show. So the show will get its own channel. So when people go on that channel, they know exactly what it's going to look like and the type of content they are about to get. That is something with me and other YouTubers, for example, Hank Green, who likes everything. His whole thing is, I'm interested in everything. Like, if that's your brand, it becomes very hard to make it so when people see a video, they know that they're going to like that video. Drew Gooden, for example, releases one video every month. You know exactly what that video is going to be like. If a video from Drew Gooden pops up and you subscribe to Drew Gooden, you watch it. With me, I was doing several types of things where I'd be doing hitting challenges and doing like IRL stuff, but then I would have my show come in. And some people who like the show might not like that other stuff. It's different enough. And so what I'm doing is implanting in my community's head is like, I'm unsure whether or not I'm going to like a Trevor May video every time it comes out. So what I want to do is establish enough of a expectation for whichever channel is posting it, what that's going to look like, so the people who want the specific things can have them. I think it's separate enough to make that make sense. So that's what we're doing. In terms of social media, I have 291,000 on Instagram, and I have just over 189,000 followers on TikTok. Those two are really up in the air at all times. I'll be really forthright and honest. I think Meta is a terrible company run by terrible people. I do. I don't think they're really that talented either. I think that they put their development skills into manipulating us to give them what they want, as opposed to making a product that is usable and good for people. They have made it so we're dependent on them, and then they actively made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. They're just being propped up by how big they are. And so I have no hope that they're ever going to take care of anybody via Instagram or Facebook. They just constantly change their payout policies that go from solid payouts to no payout over and over and over again. So that followership over there on Instagram rather is simply for funnel. It's simply for telling people that I'm there. It's always going to be free. We're not going to do subscriptions. I'm just going to put everything up there, but that doesn't make any money. It just does not make any money. None. Makes zero money. So it's just for fun. I like that I can think of my Instagram as something where I can try things. So that's what we're using it for. But at the end of the day, it's just about exposure. Hey guys, we have all this great stuff. You can get it if you want it. And also my community on there, I have a text community with 6.1 thousand people in it, which is so humbling for me. So I like that more so, like I can text people directly, DM people directly, as opposed to needing to do reels and stuff. And then TikTok, who knows? The Ellisons just took it over. The ownership has a proven track record of just squeezing every dollar out of something and making it worse actively too, like Meta. So I'm not going to hold my breath that is going to be handled very well at all. I've separated the Mayday brand off into that too. Basically gave its own channel like we did on YouTube. And when you go to the channel, it's posted 7 videos, but when you go there, it only shows 4. So something's broken. I don't know what it is. It's not surprising one bit that the thing just stopped working well as soon as someone else took it over for no reason. Again, not going to hold my breath. TikTok, I'll use it. My stuff will be there. I'm not worried about that making money as much either, because it might go out the window at someone's whim, which is kind of what the nature of this thing, which is why we're doing this series in the end of the day. So for those two, actually just for following in general, because I have 144,000 on Twitter, I don't necessarily feel like I'm trying to grow an audience in terms of follower numbers on short form social media as much as I am using it for an opportunity to connect with community, and then make sure that I am making things and giving information and taking advantage of my main skill to give value to people. And just like, it's just an easier way to go direct to community. Direct to community, not consumer, community. I hate that word. I'm not going to say that word. I hate that word. So we're not worried about growing followership there. It'll take care of itself. If I make good stuff, people will follow. I don't need to constantly be asking and trying to grow it, because that is not the way I parlay my following into income. So I'm not super worried about it. Now, I just mentioned what the thing I do really well is. It's explaining complex stuff. I think that that is something that I've always taken pride in. I notice little details. I kind of like find interesting connections, and I can tell stories in a digestible way for most people. And baseball is a complicated sport, especially behind the scenes. Like how stats work and what's going on. Like, it's not like you can sit down and never seen a baseball game before and just be like, oh, I know what's going on. That's not how it works. So it's important for people who have experience both as a viewer, as a fan, and as a player to give a full scope analysis or a full scope explanation of what's going on. And that's what I do well. That's my catch. That's me. That's what I do well. And so focusing on that when I make things is important. We also have launched a Substack that is the way that you can like support. So people at Patreon, we have Substack. I like Substack a little bit better just because it allows for the posting of content. It's a little bit more customizable, and it's simple. It's really simple. You don't have to make 1,000 tiers. You don't have to like design your own delivery systems. You just use the couple of tools they have. And I do bonus videos over there now. We just started doing this, writing really simple things, and the first one went really well. So that is another way we're building income. And then there's a merch component to that, which is also kind of off to the side. So those two things are happening as well. I want to grow those quite a bit. I want to increase my subscriber base on Substack by the end of the year to 250 plus. We are currently at 51, but it's pretty new. So if we got to 250, that would allow me to start to think about adding new hires. And my main goal for the entire thing, everything, is growing the viewership and the revenue so that I can hire more people to then make as much cool stuff and try as much possible stuff as we can where it sustains itself. I only really need to pay my employees, my lease on my studio stuff, and maintenance on the everything we're doing, and then like fun projects. And I don't want to have to do it through just a torrent of advertising. So we are going to have sponsorships, but I'm going to be pretty picky about those sponsorships, and I'm looking for partners. So that is going to be part of this. They're going to do ad reads and stuff, but I'm going to be so open and honest with you guys when I go do that on those things. I do not think that this world takes care of the people who make the actual stuff as well as it should. And it is my goal to operate as close to those values, the ideal version of those values as possible when I'm making things and paying people. I don't anticipate taking a salary or increasing my own personal bank account net worth at all via my business for at least another 3 years. At least 3 more years of Trevor May takes no money. My goal is to be able to balance the checkbook perfectly where the revenue covers the expenses. That is my number one goal. If I get that this year, and we were really close before with just the media side and my small studio, but I'm working on moving into a new studio that's much bigger. It's a much bigger project. That's for another day. There's a lot going on there. And possibly hiring someone to act as creative director to really take on a lot of the mental load for planning projects, organizing, doing some of the organic marketing, building up the channels, like just being a second proxy, a second brain that has experience in it. So those are my 2 big things that I'm doing. That's going to increase my expenses. Like, it's going to double them this year. At least they're going to double, at least. You know, we were somewhere around 230,000 in expenses last year. Now there was some stuff that I took chances on that I learned from that. So that number could have been probably down around 200 easily. This year it could very easily go to half a million. So if I'm able to add an additional revenue stream up to that amount on top of what I made last year, then great. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of effort and luck. I'm choosing to bet on myself and bet on the people that I work with and bet on the people that I've met in the space and how passionate they are and the amount of passionate people who are out there. Things I feel like in the world and the economy maybe are slowing down where the stability of the job isn't going to be huge for a lot of people, but that means there's going to be a lot of talented people looking for, you know, opportunities to really go for something where maybe the ceiling of what they could accomplish goes above what it would be in a more stable job. And that, if I can provide that for somebody, mission accomplished. So that's where we're at. We want to grow our channels in a big way. I will share more KPIs as we move through them. Maybe once a week we check in on how the numbers did, what worked, what didn't. We can make that a recurring thing. But right now, at this point in time, it's just getting these videos made and putting them up and seeing what happens.